What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as Wrestlelamia brings you the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including Chris Jericho's thoughts on Roman Reigns, an old writer returning to the WWE, AEW's new pay-per-view deal, Jeff Hardy's latest court date, why Vince cancelled a superstar's push, changes to the Raw commentary team, and why John Morrison returned to WWE. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first bit of news as Chris Jericho puts over Roman Reigns. Now, Chris Jericho seems like a straight shooter, so it's interesting to hear his comments about the big dog Roman Reigns. Le Champion recently appeared on Conan's Keeping It 100 podcast and noted,
and it's like if you had a guy like Roman Reigns in AEW, he'd be so over because Roman is legit a real cool dude, man. He's a great guy, super cool. He's a guy you want to hang out with, you know. And they never portray him like that on the show. They always give him these promos to read, and the real Roman Reigns never really shines through, you know. And it's the same. Like the real Seth Rollins never really shines through. These are guys that they have their own unique personalities, so don't try and write stuff for them. Just have them go out there and say, here, listen, you have a title match. We want you guys to talk about the match. I want you to talk about how much it means to you or whatever. And just go out there and do it. You got 4 minutes. Let's see what you got.
If Roman Reigns ever went to AEW, how would he fare? Would he be at the top? Next up, everything old is new again. It looks like Vince McMahon is looking to the past to save the WWE's future, bringing one of his old writers back to the company. You may recall Vinnie Mac hired Bruce Pritchard a while back, replacing Eric Bischoff with the former Brother Love as SmackDown's executive director for creative. Now the WWE has hired Chris DeJoseph, aka Big Dick Johnson, to help out with the WWE's woeful writing. You might remember that Johnson appeared in various skits on both WWE's version of ECW and both Raw and SmackDown around 2009 and 2010. Any bets on how long it'll be before Vince Russo is back? Next up, AEW signs a new pay-per-view deal. A new report indicates All Elite Wrestling's pay-per-view partnership with In Demand will continue through the summer of 2021. According to the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online, In Demand, the North American-based pay-per-view and on-demand distributor co-owned by traditional cable providers Comcast, Charter and Cox, will be guaranteed a minimum of one AEW event per quarter through June 2021. In Demand has a reach of 60 million homes and distribution deals with 200 companies. While not mentioned in the release, it is assumed BR Live will remain AEW's primary digital streaming option for pay-per-view as long as Dynamite remains on TNT. Since formally becoming AEW earlier this year, the company has run 3 times on pay-per-view. May's Double or Nothing brought in approximately 110,000 buys, August's All Out reportedly did 101,000 buys, and November's Full Gear was around the 100,000 buy mark. There are 2 things that immediately come to mind. Number 1, while AEW hasn't grown its pay-per-view buy rates, they've largely remained consistent, which suggests they have a loyal core. And number 2, AEW has no immediate plans to change how it presents pay-per-view events to its fans, such as switching to a network such as the WWE Network. Next up, Vince McMahon's thoughts on the Lana Lashley Rusev storyline. The storyline involving Rusev, Lana and Bobby Lashley has been getting lots of television time, which suggests Vince McMahon is big on it. If you think he loves it, you're 100% correct, at least if a recent report from WrestlingNews.co is accurate. Vince loves everything about this story, said the source. The numbers are above average for these segments, so they will do them until people stop caring. Oh goody, this means that it'll go past TLC. Looking at the figures it's bringing in online, it looks like Vince won't stop this storyline until the Royal Rumble. Next up, Jeff Hardy's next court appearance. Jeff Hardy's latest legal woes continue, with Jeff scheduled for another appearance concerning his DUI arrest. PW Insider's Mike Johnson reports, WWE star Jeff Hardy is slated for a court appearance in Moore County Court in North Carolina to face charges of driving while impaired on Friday morning, 12th May. This hearing replaces Hardy's original hearing, which was postponed as Hardy was attending to his health, we were told. Next up, the cause for Hogan's heat with CM Punk. Not too long ago, we reported on the heat between Hulk Hogan and CM Punk, with Punk mentioning Hogan and saying, "I've met him, and I like him even less now." Kim. Last summer, the Hulkster appeared on the Steve Austin podcast and commented about the situation. A lot of people don't realize you got to treat people on a case-by-case basis. Certain people have a grudge, a hard-on, they misunderstand, they're out of their mind, consumed with business, something personal, whatever. When I went to WCW and I had some personal stuff at home, I would walk down the hall and there would be 20 people and I didn't see any of them. I walked into the dressing room for the Raw 15th anniversary and there was a guy there named CM Punk. I don't know who he is. I heard I had heat because I didn't say hi to him. I only remember flying from California with RVD for the show and my phone going off because my home life is falling apart. I'm walking through the dressing room and all I can think about is getting home to fix my home life. Seems to be just a case of a misunderstanding. But to be fair, Punk rubs a lot of people up the wrong way. Next up, why Vince cancelled a Superstars push. As we reported early last month, Vince, for whatever reason, decided to cancel Cedric Alexander's push on Raw as he was elevated significantly on the roster, entering a feud with AJ Styles for the United States Championship and won matches against the likes of Cesaro and Sami Zayn. However, once his feud ended, things dropped off immediately and Cedric has hardly been featured on television, and when he eventually appears, it's to count the lights. WrestlingNews.co reported that Cedric has a good rapport backstage, but it might have just been the case of Vince just cooling off on him. Everything I've heard about him is that he's well liked backstage, and I've not heard of anything that he might have done to rub people the wrong way, so it looks like McMahon simply cooled off on him. That's a shame as Cedric is one of the most talented wrestlers on the roster today. Next up, changes to the Raw commentary team. Well, it seems that Dio Madden, who hasn't been seen back on the announce booth since the attack at the hands of Brock Lesnar on 4th November edition of Raw, has reportedly been removed for good as a commentator. Ryan Satin mentioned why on the Satin sheet as part of WWE Backstage that Dio Madden has gone back to the WWE Performance Center to continue his path as an NXT superstar. Who will take his spot? Well, none other than the Samoan submission machine Samoa Joe. And the last story of today, why John Morrison returned to WWE. Now in case you missed it, WWE Backstage revealed John Morrison has signed on to the WWE. WWE.com issued the following information. John Morrison is headed back to the WWE Squared Circle after agreeing to a multi-year contract with WWE. The Guru of Greatness is set to bring his Hollywood style back to the WWE for the first time since 2011. A former tag team and intercontinental champion, Morrison is still fondly remembered by the WWE Universe for his unique and exciting in-ring style, which was influenced by his extensive background in parkour. Morrison's television return and brand affiliation are still to be determined. However, with AEW eager to sign top stars, what made the former Johnny Nitro go back to his old stomping grounds in the WWE? Number 1. This is his last hoorah. Morrison is 40 and while he's not long in the tooth by wrestling standards, he is somewhat banged up, undoubtedly from the high-flying style he's worked throughout his career. Morrison has reportedly received stem cell treatments to help with the aging process, but at this point in his career, he probably wouldn't mind some Vince money to pad his retirement before he rides off into the sunset. Number 2. He has a built-in audience. While AEW fans will recognize Morrison, who successfully reinvented himself in Lucha Underground and Impact Wrestling, the WWE Universe will know who he is, and he wouldn't have to re-establish himself yet again in AEW. While AEW has created some excellent opportunities, it's becoming clear that its 2-hour format is not conducive to creating many new stars at once or giving exciting stars much time. While the WWE's time management skills are certainly lacking, a few hype videos are all that's needed for Morrison to reconnect with the fans. Number 3. He has opponents lined up. Morrison has many opponents he can readily work with in the WWE, first and foremost being The Miz, someone he's had a long history with. While AEW has some great workers, the WWE has never been this packed with excellent performers who Morrison can battle. Opponents such as Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo are just a few that would make for exciting matchups. Furthermore, Morrison couldn't be performing at a better time as the WWE is more focused on work rate than ever. To make things better, Morrison has expanded his in-ring skills, which were already formidable, by working in Lucha Libre, adding another dimension to his style. It's safe to say there are many WWE superstars eager to wrestle Morrison. While there's no guarantee he'll be in the main event, he should have no problem working the upper card, competing for the US or Intercontinental Championship. Hell, who even knows, he may even find his way on NXT. Number 4. The WWE made him an offer he can't refuse. In all likelihood, the WWE threw a big pile of money at Morrison, perhaps even more than AEW did. Assuming they made an offer, there's no reason to believe AEW wouldn't want Morrison, a star who'd fit in well into AEW style and add some star power, which leads us to the next reason. Number 5. It's a coup for the WWE. Now, we aren't claiming that John Morrison is as big as a signing as, let's say, Jon Moxley going to AEW. However, Morrison made a name for himself when he left the WWE, with many fans seeing his work in Impact as one of the promotion's few saving graces. Additionally, Morrison has made a number of appearances in television and film, something which the WWE always sees as appealing due to the company's longing for mainstream exposure and acceptance. Morrison's signing with AEW would have been pretty big news, so the WWE signing him not only makes the WWE look like the place to be, even if it isn't, but it may give wrestlers considering a jump to AEW a reason to rethink their plans. And number 6, he has a chance to work on his filmmaking. John Morrison has several interests outside the ring, including filmmaking, as Morrison has a short film The Iron Sheik Massacre being released and acting. While AEW may give Morrison more time to work on outside projects, the WWE has more Hollywood contacts, something Morrison likely considered before signing, and which the WWE may have dangled in front of him. But there you have it, guys, the latest wrestling news, including why John Morrison chose WWE over AEW. What do you guys think of Morrison coming back to the WWE? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.